Well, good afternoon, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a good start to your. No, wait a minute. How about good midday for you and even more, right? How you doing? Good to have you on with us this morning. Say hello. Wait a minute. It's this afternoon. I'm so used to it. You guys know that. And okay, let's see if I got Andrea. I can see you. How are you? And let's see here. I got Andrea coming on, saying hello from Niagara Falls. And Judy, how are you? Nice to have you on this afternoon. We appreciate you coming on. Brandon, how are you? Nativity, asking how I'm doing. Just doing great. Thank you, Nativity. Thanks for asking. Hi, Wendy from Markham. And let's see if we have a few more saying hello. Hi, Francis from Vaughan. Nice to have you on. And okay. Hey, the scroll's a little slow today. I don't know if that's because you guys are not saying hello. Or there's Kathy from Port Perry. How are you? And Etta, good afternoon. Milika, good afternoon to you. Milika, thanks for coming on. Much, much appreciated. There's our dear friend Kevin from Oshawa. Hi, Kev. How are you? Vera, nice to have you on. Sherry from Mississauga. Darlene, how are you? From Alberta. IT. This a little bit better time for you, Darlene. Denise, Oakville, Linda, Waterloo, and Carol, how is you? And Catherine from Springdale, Newfoundland. And Janine, how are you, Janine? Nice to have you on. Lisette, Nouveau-Brunswick, bonjour. Diane from Peterborough, nice to have you on. Couple of more guys, we'll say hello and keep going. Fran, Orangeville, nice to have you on. We appreciate you. Serpa, there she is from Dali. How are you, Serpa? Nice to have you on with us. Okay, a few more want to say hello, and then we'll get going. If I see your name. Hi, Rosa from Montreal. How are you? From La Belle Province. Nice to have you on, Rosa. We appreciate it. Thank you again. Okay, let's get going. I got a lot of studies. Hi, Rita. How you doing? Janice from Brampton. Dear followers, Eden and Elm. How are you? Laurie from Alberta. Danny, there you are. How are you, Danny? And nice to have you on, Laurie from Alberta. Let us know. Give us some feedback on this afternoon time. I know we get a bigger audience in the morning, but that's only because they're so used to me coming on in the morning. Anyway, we'll do a few afternoon sessions, and I'll let you know. I'll try and let you know way ahead of time. Joanne, Eganville. Because we always like when you can come on. Yeah, Fran says she got out of the clouds. How did that happen, Fran? I have no idea. Tracy from Vancouver. Nice to have you on, Tracy. Instead of 5:30 in the morning, right? And Laurie from Cambridge. Rita says she prefers the mornings. Yeah, I know it's a very popular time. And guys, listen, you can always watch it. For those of you who do miss our morning live sessions, you can always watch it. Okay, let's get going. I got several studies I want to hit. This is one of them. It's more of an article. Won't comment on it too much. Hi, Veronica and Yvonne from Petawawa, and Brenda. How are you? Thanks for coming on, guys. We appreciate it big time. Okay, 75%, listen to this, 75% of the US adults may meet criteria for obesity under new definition of obesity. So they've redefined obesity a little bit, and 75% of the adult population in the U.S. is considered, under these new guidelines, in the range of obesity. Now, guys, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Go back 100 years. Go back 50 years. The world has completely changed. Just go to a mall, have a coffee, and watch people go by, and people have gotten a lot bigger. We know that. It ain't great, guys, because it's a big, and I mean big with big. It's a big problem. Obesity is a big problem in our society. And you know what? Here's what I blame more than, look, we talk about the 3Ds: desire, determination, discipline. It takes that in life. You want to be successful in life, you better have determination and discipline, okay? When it comes to food, okay, you need that. We're surrounded by it. And I'll tell you something, and this is the people who were in the tobacco industry. This is facts, guys. The people that were in the tobacco industry, Philip Morris, for example, which was the biggest tobacco company in the U.S., you know what they did? When, they tried to fudge this, that, nicotine wasn't addictive. Yes, it was. And they tried to lie to the American public. They got caught. North American public. It wasn't only in the U.S. They got caught. And they're people who were masters at addiction. They flipped them to the food industry. You have food scientists today. I'm serious. Food scientists that their job is to hook you. Okay? The crunch, the taste, it's all scientifically put together. And again, especially when you go into the middle aisles of your grocery store, those foods mostly are addictive. They're traps. And obviously, if 75% of the population in the USA will qualify in the obese categories according to the new guidelines, my word, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. And unfortunately, they don't want to look at this stuff. Now, there's some things changing. I like it. For example, they've changed the food pyramid in the United States. It's about time. But they did it, and I give them high fives. I was very much against that food pyramid. I didn't like it. I thought it was poor science, and it led millions and millions of people astray. And even today, you have doctors pushing back against the new food pyramid. They just can't believe it, that anyone would say that saturated fat isn't giving you heart attacks. Well, it's not. Now, you guys who have followed me on this program, you know that. I've been talking about that for a long time. Just a bunch of nonsense. Saturated fat and cholesterol, and I've just been pushing back against that big time. Okay, so anyway, foods have changed. They changed the flour, right? They changed the oil. They changed the sugar. And look what the results have been. Catastrophic in terms of our health. Now, another thing, and this is one of the things I was just going to mention today, that according to sources that I have, that nutrition now, starting in the fall, apparently, is going to be mandatory in medical schools in the United States. Well, holy smokes. I, I can't say that I ever thought it would happen in my lifetime, but apparently it is, and that's good. If I was younger, I'd say, well, bring me in and I'll teach at one of the medical schools, teach nutrition, okay? But I'd rather do it on this format, and I enjoy it much more. Okay, so that's one of them. 75% of U.S. adults may meet criteria for obesity under the new definition, okay? Now, we're talking about obesity. Let's talk about medication. Slimmers, people who have used Wegovy or Wegovy, Mounjaro, Ozempic. You know those people? Very, very popular, isn't it? New study out, okay? When they quit, and they usually do, due to side effects, okay? When they quit, listen to this, they can regain their lost pounds 4 times faster, according to new research. 4 times faster in the regaining of that weight. And remember, I've said this to you guys, that one of the problems with these magic medications, because to some extent it's magic, you lose weight, but mostly muscle, and you don't want to lose muscle. This is why, guys, it's another reason that I implemented the reset, because you can use it as a weight loss. It's not designed primarily for weight loss, but it is, if people need to lose weight, it's a great way to do it, because first of all, you're not hungry. Second of all, you're, the idea is when you're changing fuels like that and you're eating high protein, high fat, very low carb, you're not losing muscle. You don't lose muscle. You lose fat. Your body is burning fat. You eat fat to lose fat. Eat fat to lose fat. In nature, God gave you protein and fat together, right? Like, you're not having a protein powder. I guess you could. But when you eat an egg, you're getting protein, lots of it, with fat, right? That's why they didn't want you to eat the yolk, because it was fat. Just eat the egg whites. How silly was that? But that was the recommendation. Cardiologists, no salt, no fat, no fun. I mean, when the cardiologist sent you home, no fat, no sugar, no salt, and no fun. Nothing fun in your mouth. But they made a mistake, and it was a big nutritional mistake, because they didn't know what they were talking about. And you eat, in nature, think about it. Meat is what? Fat and protein. Dairy is what? Fat and protein. When you have butter, is it fat? Yeah, lots of fat in butter. And protein in butter. Exactly the way it should be eaten. Right? And you go, Doc, where am I going to put my butter if you're telling me not to eat any toast? I said, put it on your eggs. Why don't you cook with it? Why don't you smother your steak with it? That's the way to eat butter. Okay. What about dairy? Well, dairy's good, right? Cheese is good. Very good. Okay. Slimmers who come off weight loss drugs can regain their lost pounds 4 times faster, according to new research. Okay, let me get to a couple of other studies here. And here's one of them. Alcohol and cancer, brand new, hot off the press. Okay, let me give you some stats. Alcohol and cancer. Here's what the study said, okay? Researchers searched major medical databases from 2015 to 2025, 62 different studies, and this was published in Cancer Epidemiology. And okay, this is on breast cancer, colon cancer, any other cancers? Anyway, here's their conclusion looking at 62 studies. No amount of alcohol is safe when it comes to breast cancer or colorectal cancer. Okay, so those are the two. In Cancer Epidemiology, published 62 studies, so a meta-analysis over the studies from 2015 to 2025. Breast cancer and alcohol appeared in 40% of all the studies. Obesity was a factor, but alcohol was more of a factor. And colorectal cancer. And guys, look, I'm not, you don't hear me preaching on abstinence, okay? You don't hear me doing that. Here's me. I like to give information and then you decide. God gave you a brain, you decide, okay? That's the way I like to operate. I give you my opinions, of course. I'm very opinionated. Now, I'm never telling people not to drink. I do it during the reset, because the reset is no alcohol. Because what we're trying to do during the reset is fix insulin resistance. And one of the big factors in insulin resistance is emptying that liver of yours. We want to empty the liver. Okay, so that's really important that we do that. And to do that, you got to lay off alcohol. Okay? And and someone is putting, Rain Cloud said prostate. Yes, prostate. Well, anytime you see anything on breast cancer, you can apply it to prostate cancer in men. What have I said all these years? That it's breast cancer and prostate cancer, just a two-headed coin. Breast cancer and prostate cancer are driven by the same growth factors, insulin and estrogen. What? Prostate cancer, estrogen? Yes. When men, it's not testosterone. You got too much testosterone, that's going to give you prostate cancer. No, that's not true at all. It's too much estrogen. Too much estrogen. Okay? So, just giving you the fact. I'm like Dragnet. You remember that show? Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. What was that guy's name, anyways? I used to watch that as a kid, Dragnet. Okay. This is a mega study of studies. Okay? So, anyway, take it as information, guys. That's what I want you to do. Okay, let me get to, I've got a couple of more studies here. We've got a few more minutes. I'm just getting to my notes. Here's one. Microplastics. Oh boy, did we ever talk about this a lot, eh? Microplastics are, here's the article, are shredding male arteries. Microplastics, worse than we thought. Man, oh man, can't get away from them, eh, guys? You just can't. Now, you want to minimize it, okay? You can't get away from it. You can run, but you can't hide from microplastics, okay? Doesn't matter where you go. You can go to Costa Rica. You can go to Aruba. I don't care. You're going to run into microplastics, okay? The point is that I want you, okay? The environment, a lot of times we can't change anything. What I always aim at is for my audience, you guys, to make yourself an immune fighting machine. You want to be your immune system, which is comprised of a lot of things. Okay? Because when I say immunity and your immune system fighting on all cylinders, well, there's a lot to that. One of the biggest things in detoxification is your liver. And so that has a big part in your immune system. Think about it. Right? If you are surrounded by microplastics, males, they're shredding their arteries. Well, I can tell you, you want to detox from that. Your liver knows exactly what to do that. But it has to be empty. It has to be producing a lot of glutathione. Glutathione is like Velcro, and it attaches itself to any toxin that doesn't belong in your body, including microplastics. Probiotics. There's certain strains of bacteria that are just, they mop up microplastics. You think that's important? Sure it is. Sure it is. You know it's going to be out here. It's around you. It's in the water. It's in the air. Okay? Microplastics are in the water. They're in the air. They're everywhere. They're in the soil. Okay? But your soil is what I'm interested in. I used to tell my patients, this is a long time ago. I used to say, you look at the plant, okay? I look at the soil. I'm interested in the soil. So I'm interested in your body. Not that I won't talk about microplastics or heavy metals like mercury, lead, cadmium, or what other. Of course we'll talk about them. But I'm saying to you that you need to put your body in the best position. White blood cells, like your T cells. What makes them work? Vitamin D. The sun. Vitamin A. Big part of your immune system. The invisible mask. Okay, so we talked about microplastics, what to do. And here's another one, fake milks. I wrote fake. Okay? The article didn't talk about fake milks. It talked about alternative milks. I call it fake milk. And by the way, when you go to the grocery store and you get skim milk, or 2%, that's fake milk. That's not milk. Think about it. But what's worse is those plant milks, like oat. Okay? Here's what this article said. Almond milk, which is very popular. People think it's a good alternative to dairy. It's not a good alternative. Don't touch it with a 100-foot pole. Oat milk, very popular. Here's what this article said. It spikes blood sugar as much as a Coke. What? Never mind that it has a boatload of crystals, oxalates. Huge, especially almond milk. Oxalates. Very, very, they're crystal forming, especially in the kidneys. And in my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, I brought to you that when they look at breast cancer, oxalates are often involved in that. They find a lot of oxalate crystals in the breast tissue in breast cancer. One of the sources is the plant fake milks. Guys, you don't need milk. You're not a baby. Okay? You don't need milk. You know me, if you have a cow in the backyard, well, I drink it. I want you I don't want you to drink stuff other than water and coffee, okay? You know me, I'm not big on juice at all. Okay, you can have a Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, but you use that as a meal replacement. You can. It certainly can. Okay? And it's a perfect smoothie because it's perfect for your kids and your grandchildren. It really is. Because if they're not eating well and you give them that, Grandma, you're giving them a real treat. They think that they went to McDonald's to get a milkshake. Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. But you know me, really, what do I talk about all the time? You don't need to drink stuff. Drink water, 2 liters a day, 64 ounces a day, every day, 7 days a week. You don't get no days off when it comes to water. Someone asked last week, do you remember on Friday? We talked about fasting, dry fasting. Why in the world would you want to do that? I mean it, guys. You can't do that. Don't do that. That is the worst thing you could do for yourself is dry. You want to fast? Fast. Enjoy. But don't dry fast, meaning I'm not drinking any water. That's the worst thing you could do. Don't do that. Okay? So, fake milks, alternative milks. That was the article. And they used almond and oat. Is there any other? I've seen hemp milk. What other? Ugh. It spikes blood sugar as much as a Coke. You might as well have a Pepsi or a Coke in the morning if you're going to drink almond milk. Isn't that something? That's how much it spikes your blood sugar. How can that be good for you? And it's got the same seed oil, a lot of them do, as the ones they cook the French fries in. You know, like the fake, the Hateful Eight oils. Stay away, folks. Stay away from that stuff. You don't need that. Change your habits. You just figure I got to have some milk or whatever. No, you don't. I mean, you want to put a little bit of cream, heavy cream in your coffee. I got no problem with that. Okay? You want to do that? Okay. I prefer it black, but I'm not going to lose any sleep if you tell me you're putting some heavy cream or cream in your milk, in your coffee. Okay. Okay, so I hit almost all of the studies that I wanted to talk about. I got that one. How many more? Okay. Yeah. Okay, got one here. Oh, well, hey, I might as well finish with this because it's right in there. Fructose drinks, orange juice. Okay? Inflammation. They measured an inflammatory marker when you were drinking, or folks were drinking, a fructose drink. Like, think of not only high fructose corn syrup, but even orange juice or apple juice. Okay? The same amount of inflammation in a short period of time in one fructose drink. It elevates your inflammation, for heaven's sakes. Be careful with that. Be careful with that. Okay. You guys are wonderful, and Wendy is answering, I think, Rain Cloud. You can have some coconut milk. You know what? Coconut milk is all right. Like, if you got to put that in your coffee, put it in your coffee. I'll live with it. Okay? I'll live with it. I'd rather you drink water and coffee black, but hey, I'm not gonna be upset at all. Okay, you guys are wonderful. Thank you guys for listening in. Give us some feedback on the afternoon session. Okay, we want to hear from you. Remember what Friday is, Q&A Friday. Okay, so don't forget Q&A Friday. We love you guys, and we will talk to you soon. If you can, join us tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern. Okay, 8:30 a.m. And I know a lot of you guys on the West Coast, you do it. I don't know how you do it. Although I'm up early in the morning too, I must admit that. But you guys are great. We thank you so much on the West Coast. We thank you on the East Coast. All my Newfies, all my Newfoundlanders, you guys are great. Halifax and in Nova Scotia, all the folks that we have in New Brunswick, and we love you guys. Big time as you go East Canada, West Canada, middle of Canada, all over the United States, coast to coast. We love you guys. Thank you for coming on. Talk to you soon.